Chapter 5 is fantastic and has some of the best storytelling so far. From the deeply disturbing to the genuinely heartfelt moments, this has everything. On top of this, I have a little theory about Huggy and Kissy near the end, so stick around if you'd like to hear it. The game opens with a cinematic chase scene that sets the tone in a way that's far more thrilling than previous entries. I make no attempts to hide the fact that I love Huggy Wuggy, and it's clear that with his anticipated return, the devs spent a lot of time and effort on making this the best experience it could be. From his movements to his interactions with the environment, such as breaking glass or the elevator, it's not just an upgrade from Chapter 1, but it feels as if they were pulling out all the stops on what Huggy can do as a monster, giving us this extended, satisfying opening to Chapter 5. By the time we reach the elevator and Huggy attacks again, I was like, Lord have mercy, please let it end.
Shit! Ah! Ouchie! Is it not like that anymore? Oh my god! Please calm down. Please stop. Ah! Really? What a bitch! You just take my hand?
When will Huggy stop? He just keeps coming.
Jesus Christ, how fast is he? Ah!
He is relentless. I love that he's actually able to hurt us in some scripted moments, because by making his violence unavoidable, it really highlights how determined he is to kill us. He is out for blood, and boy, do we have a lot to learn about Huggy by the time this chapter is over. As we descend further into this place, we get the usual small enemies, reminiscent of smiling critters. I actually prefer that they're not used very much. They mostly add to the environment as they scatter away when you shine light near them. The focus of this chapter is much more where it needs to be, on important characters and bigger set pieces. This brings us to Lily Lovebraids. Apparently, she became a bit of a controversial figure in the fandom, but my takeaway is that she's pretty good. Design-wise, she's fine. She fits the Poppy Playtime universe. I can see what the intent was. But her dollhouse is fire. It feels so bizarre and unsettling in a way that I can't put my finger on. Part of it is probably because as a child I had a Polly Pocket toy, and yeah, it was giving me major flashbacks. This chapter has some of my favourite environments in the whole series. And I don't just mean the big set pieces like Lily's home. Some of the lab areas were strong in atmosphere and look. I think beyond the graphics look nicer. There's just a great variety of environments here. Hallways, lab rooms, children's rooms, colourful and broken spaces that really emphasise the world. It's really immersive, and I think they nailed it in this one. Now, while I think Lily was a good antagonist, there's a version of her that's even worse. And this is where I want to talk about what made the chapter so disturbing for me. And the main reason is due to the character Gracie Green. There is a section in this game where we see rooms of projectors showing her face, as she makes disturbing references to children being brainwashed into thinking they're toys. It's not graphic or gory, but something about her very real human face and her manipulations really creeped me out. Amazing performance by the actress, by the way. It really gets under my skin. I think in the past they've leaned into the child murder angle, which is disturbing, but there's something about this which feels even worse. I think it's the idea of her projecting happiness and innocence while she causes pain. And she almost never breaks character while doing this. This gets us to the worst of her crimes as we, the player, experience Huggy's memories. This brings us back to Huggy, and it's honestly one of the best sequences in the chapter. I feel like I went through several emotions at once. Surprise, confusion, and then I was just amazed that the game was really doing this. Yes, I was about to get more Huggy backstory, which at first was great, but as I continued, I just felt worse and worse. We basically see how Huggy is forced to perform for Gracie, and it's just tragic. As Gracie demands he moves blocks or drops small toys into grinders, you see how Huggy deteriorates and turns to violence. Like, you just root for him at this point, honestly. His anger becomes a literal storm as he smashes everything in his path, and it really tore at my heart. I think what's worse is that Huggy is silent. Children have some understanding of what's happening to them, and even among the toys, some can talk and convey how they're feeling. But Huggy can't do that. The fact he can't speak makes him feel really vulnerable. It's like a dog being kicked. It's just something we don't want to see. Something so innocent that doesn't understand why it's being hurt. Like, damn, it really gets me. You come away from it understanding how deeply Huggy's rage goes. Playing as Huggy lets us experience his trauma at what he's made to do. It's one of those moments that reminds me why games as an experience are so unique compared to films, since we can literally step into someone else's shoes, or giant mittens in this case. And I swear to God, I have "Let's Be Soft" ringing in my ears. Like I played the game as soon as it released, staying up to 1 a.m. to get it finished, because I died a lot. And her voice saying that, it just stuck in my brain. And yet, despite all this horror, everything that Huggy goes through, all of it makes this moment here so impactful. After pursuing us, Huggy finally runs into Kissy. I almost feel embarrassed here about how much this emotionally affected me. For me, this moment has been something I've wanted since Kissy was introduced, and it did not disappoint. I don't care if I sound over the top. This is the cutest thing I've seen in a game. It makes me think of Wally and Eve, just this sense of pure innocence between these characters. As Kissy raises her hand, Huggy responds, hesitant at first, moving to connect with her. It's this small gesture that speaks volumes of their relationship without any words. And it's amazing to get confirmation that Huggy and Kissy really do share a bond. I kept thinking he was going to suddenly attack her, but that was something else's job apparently. And honestly, Huggy reaching out felt so surreal. Like we've never seen this side of his character before. Seeing him as something other than a monster just felt so satisfying and really beautiful. I don't know. The fact he was going to return it, oh my God. I personally choose to ignore what happens next because as far as I'm concerned, this is what matters. Two damaged beings, both having suffered so much, finally reuniting with their other half. All Huggy seems to want is to be with Kissy. She is the only one who can calm him down and perhaps allows him to feel like a person again. It's so heartfelt. Like, I didn't cry, but my emotions were crying inside at the sweetness of it all. Despite his huge size and teeth, Huggy is such a tragic character. And I didn't expect this chapter to lean so far into that. I'm so glad they did, even if I'm now suffering. I see Huggy differently because I understand him. And that's what I really wanted from this game if he was to return. So thanks for that, Mob Games. Now bring him and Kissy back next chapter, or there will be consequences. So here's my theory. Because while failing to cope with what I had just witnessed, my brain of course tried to find an answer for the possible survival of Huggy and Kissy. But I actually do think there are good reasons to believe both characters will return. So can Kissy and Huggy survive, first of all? Well, Poppy Goo seems to be able to create or bring back something to life. We have this confirmed after the prototype stabs the player in the chest, just like Huggy. We're then dropped into goo and somehow come back to life. This goo regenerates. And what is so conveniently only feet away from Huggy when the cutscene starts? A room full of goo. I even went back to see if you could turn this goo into ice, because if some players could do that, then the goo would be destroyed before the cutscene. But you can't because there's no power nearby to do it. So it's possible that either Huggy or Kissy drags themselves towards it and then revives the other. If the player can survive a chest stab after using goo, I see no reason why they can't as well. And that's really the theory, but I think beyond this, there's other reasons that are less exciting but still important. First being that Huggy and Kissy can tank a lot. Not only was Huggy's fall more dramatic, which should have killed him, but the fact that these two in particular are so durable comes up time and time again. Despite Kissy having lost her arm and being seriously injured, she still manages to give the prototype an ass whooping, like halfway through his introduction. He runs away. If that wasn't evidence of just how strong these two are, then I don't know. Another reason is that we still don't know who Huggy is. This chapter gave some amazing insights into him, but ultimately we didn't get the full picture. There's still questions left unfinished about Huggy, like his intro to Kissy in the tape which cuts off. We learnt the prototype's identity, but not Huggy's? That tells me that no matter what we theorise about their survival, their story can't be over. There's a bit more to Huggy we just haven't seen yet, and with his reunion to Kissy, that changes everything. I still believe that he is the Darth Vader to the prototype's Palpatine, as the devs once said, something I talked about in my video on Huggy's relationship to the player. I don't think Huggy's story can end until he or the player kills the prototype, and I have a strong feeling it's going to be both. That Huggy and Kissy may return at the last moment to help us win. And not gonna lie, it would be super satisfying to see the look on the prototype's face when the two toys he thinks he killed return to kill him. Don't worry, bud, we've all been there. Also, I really love the idea of us being saved by Huggy himself. It would be such a cool and shocking moment that shows his change of heart. And because they love to mirror Huggy and Kissy, this would be a lovely way to inverse how Kissy has always been the one to save us. She grabs us so many times in these games. Wouldn't it be crazy if the final time it happens, it's Huggy who does it? So that's some of my thoughts. I love this chapter as much as it emotionally destroyed me, and I'm looking forward to chapter 6. The Doctor's going to be back in it, so that's cool. Another villain who gets the second round, and honestly, he deserves it. I feel like I could just keep going, so I'll leave it here. Please share your thoughts on Chapter 5 below. Not only does it help me out, but I'm actually kind of desperate to keep talking about this game. It's definitely my favourite chapters so far, and I'm super curious to see what you guys think of it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Oh, he likes Kissy. That's his friend.